Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anurshri Singh and I am going to talk about motivation and its concepts and theories in this video lecture. After the lecture, we will be able to understand what is motivation and its various components, what are the different types of motivation, and what are the various theories of motivation. Also, the application of motivation theories in the organizations. So, what is motivation? Motivation means different things to different people. We can better understand this thing by having some examples on this screen. As you can see in the picture, a tired lady, a less energetic lady, when treated with motivation, becomes active and willing to do her work or willing to go to her office. Similarly, in the second picture you can see a lady perceiving herself to be a superwoman who can do anything. Likewise, in the third picture, you can see a person running behind the money. So for him, the motive is money. He is running behind money means he is doing his job for money. He is doing hard work to get more, to earn more and more money. And lastly, in this picture, you can see a person is running behind some target. So for him, the motive of doing job or motive of engaging in some kind of behavior may be to achieve the objectives or maybe to achieve the targets which he has set for himself. So we can see that in these four pictures, the term motivation means different to different people. For some, it comes from outside. For some, it comes from inside. For some, it is money. For some, it is not non-monetary. So, motivation is different to different people. People perceive motivation or people feel motivation differently. Why? Because their needs, their wants, their desires, their incentives are different from every individual. That is why it is crucial to understand what motivation is and how do we recognize that what person is lacking in what kind of motivation. So, in order to better understand the concept of motivation, we first need to understand three important terms and the relationship amongst themselves. And these terms are motive, motivating, and motivation. Now, what is motive? Motive is need. Motive is desire. Motive is any force, restlessness, lack, yen, for which a person drives for which a person engage into some kind of action so that those motives can get be fulfilled. So motive is a need. Motive is an inner state of mind that energizes people, that activates people, and that directs people to attain some kind of goal. What is motivating? Motivating is activating the motives in a person. Means when a person, suppose a boss, tries to induces his employee by providing him the channel of environment, channel of satisfaction of to fulfill his needs, to fulfill his employee's needs, he is motivating that employee. He is motivating his employee's motives to get motivated. So motive is the need, motivating is activating those needs, and motivation is the readiness to engage in certain kind of behavior. So motive, when activated, becomes motivation. And motivation is a behavior in which a person behaves in a particular behavior, in a desired behavior, so that the results or the objectives can be achieved. So based on these needs, wants, motives, desires, etc., we can divide motivation into two categories. First is extrinsic motivation and another one is intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation means external from the person. Means when a person's behavior is driven by external rewards such as salary, policies of the organization, money, fame, grades, praise from others, praise from their colleagues, fellows, bosses, peer groups. This kind of behavior is known as extrinsic motivation behavior. And what is intrinsic? Intrinsic, that comes from your inside. Means when a person engages himself in a behavior because it is personally rewarding, not for an external reward. For example, when we study or when a person studies not just for the sake of good marks but also for getting good knowledge. So getting good knowledge comes from within, while getting good grade marks is an external factor. So that is why it is intrinsic motivation. So let us define motivation. Motivation can be defined as the processes that account for an individual's intensity, direction, and persistence of efforts towards attaining a goal. Now, you can see that there are three key terms in this definition. These are intensity, direction, and persistence. What is intensity? Intensity is how much effort a person is putting into a work behavior, or how much effort a person is doing to achieve his targets, to achieve his goals. But the amount of efforts go wasteless if it is not into the right direction. So direction is also important. Direction of what? Direction of your efforts into the sync of or to the sync of the organizational objectives. If your intensity of doing your work or if your efforts are not in the direction of the achievement of your organization's goal, it will become useless for the organization. It will give no results. So intensity with direction is very important. And next comes the persistence. Persistence is how long you can put your effort into something, how long you can maintain your intensity for doing a work. So intensity with direction combined with persistence leads to motivation, or leads to motivational behavior, or leads to engage in a particular behavior to achieve a given target or given goal. Now, why employee motivation is important? Motivation is one of the most important aspects of human behavior and their work performances. And that is why managers attach a great importance to motivation in their organizational settings. Management thinkers has called motivation as the core of management. Why? Because people's needs, desires, wishes, incentives are different. And when they are treated well, when they are provided with conducive work environment, when their needs are getting fulfilled, when they feel satisfied into the organization, their productivity increases. They get involved themselves in a more productive behavior. So by these things, the employee's commitment also gets increased. If employee feels that the organization is concerned about them, that organization cares about them, organization provides him good practices, then they will also feel committed towards the organizational objectives. And this leads to satisfaction. When the employee is committed, he is involving himself or herself, into a productive behavior. In productive behavior, he will feel satisfied, and with this satisfaction comes the development. If he'll feel satisfied, if he'll feel committed, then he will have a more productive behavior, which in turn will result in his overall personality and overall career development. And career development or the growth of an employee will ultimately lead to the organizational performance, better organizational performance. And this also will increase the employee's efficiency, and that is the ultimate goal of any organization, to increase the efficiency of their employees so that they can achieve their targets in a better way. Now let us study the various theories of motivation. From the very beginning, when human organizations were established, people had tried to find out the answer that why do people work in the organizations, or what motivates people in the organizations most. The early part of these theories were based on the types of needs that people have and how to satisfy those needs so that the people can be motivated. Some of the most important early theories of motivations are hierarchy of need theory, given by Abraham Maslow, the most popular theory, which is applied even in the today's era. Theory X and Theory Y, given by Douglas McGregor. Two-factor theory by Frederick Herzberg. and Maitland's theory of needs by David Maitland. Now let us understand what is the hierarchy of needs theory. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory by Abraham Maslow, which puts forward that people are motivated by five basic categories of needs. And these needs are physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So, for better understanding that what motivates human beings, Maslow proposed that human needs can be organized into a hierarchy, and this hierarchy ranges from more concrete needs such as food and water to abstract concepts such as self-fulfillment. And according to Maslow, when a lower need is met, the next need on the hierarchy becomes a focus of attention. So as you can see in the picture, there is a hierarchy of needs presented. In this pyramid, at the bottommost, there is a physiological needs, and then comes the safety needs, then comes the love and belonging, then esteem, and on the top, there is the self-actualization needs. Now, what is physiological needs? These are the basic essential needs for any human being living. These include food, shelter, water, clothes, anything which is required to sustain living. The example can be, if someone is extremely hungry, it's hard to focus on anything else besides food. Another example of physiological needs would be the need of adequate sleep. So these are the basic essential needs, and until these needs are not met, people cannot think of any other need. Next comes the safety needs. Safety, when our essential needs are getting fulfilled, when our essential needs are fulfilled, we move on to seek safety. Safety of our job, safety of our home where we are living, safety of our environment, safety of our loved ones. We then prefer to safety, safe environments. We then move to secure every aspect of our life. Next comes the love and belonging. As we know that human being is a social animal who longs for relationships, love, desire, and if these needs are not fulfilled, they feel less motivated. Researchers have also proved that having social connection is related to better physical health, and conversely, feeling isolated has negative consequences for health and well-being. So love and belonging is also one of the most important needs for any human being. And after these needs are getting fulfilled or get fulfilled, then people look for the esteem needs. Esteem needs means getting status into the society, getting status in your organization, reputation, recognition, your ego needs are being satisfied, you perceive yourself, you present yourself to be a great person in front of others, such things. So, according to Maslow, esteem needs include two components. The first involves feeling self-confidence and feeling good about yourself, and the second component involves feeling valued by others. That is, feeling that our achievements and contributions have been recognized by other people. When people's esteem needs are met, they feel confident and their contribution and achievement as valuable as important. So after your esteem needs are getting fulfilled or your esteem needs gets fulfilled, people move towards another need, that is self-actualization, and which is, as per Maslow, is very rare to get achieved. Most of the people in their lifetime only achieve their esteem needs. Self-actualization is rare. As per Maslow, Maslow have seen only few individuals whose self-actualization needs are fulfilled, and these includes the big names: Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, Mother Teresa. So, in self-actualization, as seen in the picture, a person's motivation to reach his or her full potential. When we identify our potential, when we know what we are meant for, when we are why we have taken birth. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a person's basic needs must be met before self-actualization can be achieved. So self-actualization is at the top and it cannot be met if any of the other needs cannot be met. So in organizations, managers are still using this theory to motivate their people. They try to identify their basic needs, their different types of needs, and plan their practices so that the employees' required needs are getting fulfilled and they feel motivated enough to do their work, to complete their tasks, and to involve into more productive behavior. Next comes. Now let us understand theory X and theory Y. In 1960s, Douglas McGregor developed two contrasting theories of how managers feel about their employees. These theories are theory X and theory Y. As you can see in the picture, the theory X person is daydreaming that when can he go home, while theory Y person has some new idea for his work. So the McGregor believes that managers take their employees. Manager consider there are two types of employees who work for any organization. The X types of person who are pessimistic, who dislike their work, who are less motivated, who are to be controlled, stricter, who are to be supervised at every step, and who needs carrot and stick approach to get things done. While the theory by persons are assumed to be uh, motivated, proactive, participative, optimistic. They like their work, they enjoy their work, they have always some new ideas to complete their tasks, and they are motivated enough to achieve any targets. These, this theory X and Y is still applicable in such organizations. While theory X is believed to be more applicable in larger organizations, theory Y believes to be more applicable in flatter organizational structures. The next theory is two-factor theory, given by Frederick Herzberg in 1959, also known as motivation hygiene theory or the dual-factor theory. To understand the job satisfaction and motivation of employees of people, Herzberg conducted a study in which he asked people to rate their good and bad experiences into the organization in which they work. And he was surprised to know that the people who responded for their good experiences, their responses were completely different from the responses of the people who responded for their bad experiences. So based on these results, he developed a theory in which he believes that the people's job satisfaction depends on two kinds of factors. And these are motivational factors, also known as satisfiers or factors for satisfaction, and hygiene factors, also known as dissatisfiers or the factors for dissatisfaction. He believes that absence of dissatisfaction does not mean that the person is satisfied, or the absence of satisfaction does not mean the person is dissatisfied. As you can see in the picture, in the screen, that hygiene factors are working conditions, quality of supervision, salary, status, security, company policies and administration, and interpersonal relations. And in motivational factors, there are achievement, recognition for achievement, responsibility for tasks, interest in job, advancement to higher level tasks, growth, etc. So in this theory, Herzberg claims that these factors function on the same plane. In other words, satisfaction and dissatisfaction are not polar opposites. Taking away an employee's dissatisfaction does not necessarily mean that he will be satisfied. For example, if we offer a person a high salary, that does not mean that he will be satisfied from his job. The employee is no longer dissatisfied. So how people apply these theories into the organizations? This theory into the organization, there are two approaches to apply this theory into the organization. First, take away the dissatisfaction, and second, create conditions for satisfaction. Organizations should provide better hygiene factors for their employees so that they don't feel dissatisfied, and increase their motivation factors, or identify the motivation factors of employee and work on them so that their satisfaction level can be increased. So for motivation factors, the approach is to create conditions for satisfaction, and for hygiene factors, just simply take away the dissatisfaction of the employees. The next is David McClelland's need theory. Abraham Maslow in 1940 has identified 5 needs of human beings. Further, David McClelland has extended his work and identified 3 motivators that he believes we all have in ourselves. That is, the need for achievement, the need for affiliation, and the need for power. According to him, people will have different characteristics depending on their dominant motivators. He called these needs as the motivators, as the dominant motivators, which are present in every human being, and people will have different among these 3 motivators. Each people have unique dominant motivator. Each people have different dominant motivator. According to him, these motivators are learned and developed as per our life experiences, as per our culture, etc. So he says that regardless of our gender, culture, or age, we all have 3 motivating drivers, and one of these will be a dominating motivating driver. This dominant motivator is largely depend upon on our culture and life experiences. So he gave 3 types of needs. In his theory, he proposed 3 types of needs. That is, need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power, to which he also called as a dominant motivator, which are present in everyone. So as per him, the people who are high on need for achievement has a strong need to set and accomplish challenging goals. They take calculated risks. They are like to receive regular feedbacks on their works and progress and achievements. They often like to work alone, and the people who are having high need of affiliation wants to be liked and will often go along with whatever the rest of the group is going, favors collaboration over competition, doesn't like high risk or uncertainty, etc. While the people with high need of power wants to obviously will want to control and influence others, like will always like to win arguments, will enjoy competitions and winnings, enjoy status and recognition. So this theory can be applied in any organization by identifying the dominant motivators of their employees and working on them. For example, employees with high need for achievement can be given challenging tasks, can be given challenging opportunities, so that they can work better, they can provide more productive outcomes. The people who have high need of power can be given different positions on which they can exercise their duties very well, and people with high need for affiliation can also be identified and treated as per their needs. So this is all about my today's my this lecture. Thank you for watching. I will be uploading my next video on the contemporary theories of management soon. Thank you so much.